Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space. Another art journal page, bit of a different art journal page today. I am actually swatching out some Fluro colour paints I picked up. You'll see the pack of paints in a minute. They're by Montmark and they just looked interesting. I really don't need to buy any more paints. So I did purchase these last year, so this video is a little old, but it's my last 2018 video I get to edit and put up. My goal for 2019 is to have all my videos edited in the year they are made. Let's see how that works. Obviously, I won't film any videos in the last couple of months of the year, and then I'll be able to catch up. So I'm working in one of my altered books. This is my altered lion book, so I haven't prepped the pages at all. It's just raw sort of paper. In my altered books, I do prefer to work on thicker pages that are from sort of the 60s and the 70s and that don't have a gloss on them. So you'll see when you're flipping through books at the op shop or at home, some pages are glossy like magazines, some pages are more matte like a novel, but the paper is thicker. So just grab some stamps that I got from overseas. What I'm actually doing at the moment is I'm just a bit off camera because I need to see what I'm doing and I need to have everything near my nose to see it. Is I'm just cutting those two flowers apart. I do that a lot to my clear stamps. If I'm not going to get the use out of them together, I will take the scissors and cut them apart because I'd much rather use them a lot more cut apart than actually keep them together and not use them as much. So just stamping off extra ink onto some greaseproof paper, which is equivalent to our deli paper here in Australia. So basically just wanting to add some flowers so I can test out the paints and do it a bit more interesting than just slopping paint in squares on paper, which is getting a bit boring. Bit inspired by James Burke. He does this with swatches, but he does swatch dolls and things. So I thought, I haven't used this flower stamp yet. I've got these new paints to play with, so why not combine the two and have some fun. I find sometimes the first time I go to use these stamps, you have to pull a lot to get them off the acetate, and then after that they come off quite easily. Sometimes too easily, but that's okay. So obviously didn't get a good impression that way. So I took the stamp off the stamping block and pressed it down. So just matching up some flowers. I do love this stamp set. I love the whimsical way you can build different flowers and you can cut them up and decapitate the flowers that are on the stems and add different things. You could add people's faces. You could do all sorts of fun stuff. So I do like this particular stamp set and the funkiness of the flowers. So just adding them randomly over the page. I do like the text coming through on some of my projects in my altered books. And sometimes I don't. That would be right as soon as I start a video. My phone goes ding. Let me turn the volume down on that one. I do apologise, there's this bit background noise. It's quite busy out in the street at the moment, and I do have the washing machine going, but I have shut the door. So these are the paints. You would have seen the package briefly. So basically they're Fluro paints by Montmark, and I think you get about 6 to 8 different colours in the little tubes. They were very inexpensive. They were like maybe $8, $7 or $8. They're very translucent, which is really cool. I do want to give these a try on my gel plate. I reckon they would make some really cool subtle sort of layering and stuff. That's still what I'm working on my gel plates to get really good at layering. So just adding, sort of just colouring in. This is my extent of colouring, just slopping on some colour with the green stems. I do put the paint on a piece of the greaseproof paper as my palette, and then I can, when I'm finished with the colour, I can just brush it all over the page, and I'm getting some funky pattern paper as well to use later, as opposed to putting it on a plastic palette and wasting it. These paints actually said on them you can use a black light under them. So Alexis had a little one that we got, and it does actually work if you paint with them and then get a special, I think it was called a black light. They will actually fluorescent in the, or actually be fluorescent, which was really cool. So I didn't actually take any film of that. We were just mucking around, and I don't know where that little light of Alexis's is. It's obviously in the house somewhere, but unfortunately it has hidden itself away from us. So I do end up using all the colours, so I just did want to try out all the different colours. So this is a bit of a different way to do a swatch if you get a new product with loads of colours. Instead of being quite boring and just swatching them on paper, swatch them out on something decorative, something pretty, and have some fun about it too. So just doing some very basic colouring with the flowers. I just wanted to see how the paint took to the paper, how it flowed. I did love the transparency of it, or the translucency of it. It was really, really cool. A lot of my paints are opaque. It's almost like a watercolour, but it's an acrylic paint. So just drying the flowers off in between adding the colours so I don't put my hand accidentally in them. So as you can see on that right hand side, when I'm finished with the colours, I am just sort of spreading the paint out, and then I'll use that, goes into my scrapbooks, and I'll use it on something one day. My poor scrap boxes are overflowing with stuff, and I do need to get my act together and go to my scrap boxes first, as opposed to going to other papers first. Do we all have that problem? I think we do. I think we produce a lot of, especially when I'm gel printing and doing stuff like this, I do produce a lot of extra papers, which is good in a way, but they tend to add up in my stash. So I do particularly like the orange. I don't know, for some reason. I'm not usually an orange person. I do like the purple as well. Actually, I do tend to like all the colours. They're not as fluoro as I thought they'd be. They're bright. They're sort of a lot of the colours I like. I'm not so much of a vintage person. I do like brighter colours, but like not fluoro jacket type colours. You could leave those ones on the workbench on the work sites. So they're tending to go on really nicely onto the paper. Some cheaper acrylic paints are not so good, but I've found Montmartre to be a really affordable place to get, or affordable brand to get paints from. You can get normal acrylic tubes. You can get, they also had a metallic set as well. You can get these sort of sets. You can get dimensional paints, quite all reasonably priced, and they're sort of a student grade, and you can find a lot of the Montmartre products in there, like cheapy shops, which are really cool. So they're quite affordable and quite easy to find. I do like their gessos as well. A few of my friends don't. They feel it's a bit plasticky, but I find it's not too thick, and I water it down just a tad with paint. With water. It works just as well. So I haven't pre-gessoed this page. Just working directly on top of the flowers. I had fun sitting here and painting the flowers. They were fun. Yellow was probably my least favourite colour. It was very bright. It did tone in with all the other colours, so all the colours go nicely together, which is lovely. You're always wanting that in a set of colours. So here's the blue, so I decided to paint the blue background in. I'm probably doing this in reverse. I probably should have painted the entire blue background and then coloured the flowers on a different sheet of paper and stuck them on, but I do a lot of things the hard way. The only thing I didn't like about this paint, now it may have been the brush, it may have been the paper, it may not be the paint at all, is the streakiness of the large cover areas. So I didn't let you watch all of that. So I decided that I needed some more flowers, and I had real issues with those two flowers up the top sort of floating in midair. I have issues with things floating in midair. I don't like that on my page. I do like things to be grounded or attached, even if it's attached to the side of the page. And I do like things to be up the right way. I'm very weird that way. So I grab out my black fine line markers and make sure they're waterproof markers, because I am going to put paint over the top of them. And I try to replicate and copy the leaves and the stems that I've got down the bottom. I think I did a pretty good job with replicating them. So I do like how they look now. They do look like they match, but they also have a bit more of a hand-drawn effect as well. I love hand doodling like this. I never do pencil beforehand. I just go in with a permanent marker or a permanent pen. I find if I draw with the permanent pen that it's easier, I suppose, for me. It's really hard to explain. My brain's weird. I find with a pencil I'm erasing lots and trying to get it perfect, and I sort of think if I don't get it perfect I can always rub it out. But when I pick up my permanent markers, and I've actually got flip throughs of sketchbooks, and I must get back into doing it, I haven't done it for a while, is drawing in the black markers. It makes my brain think a lot more, and it makes me more, I suppose, determined to get it right the first time, and more deliberate with my strokes. Like you can take up a pencil and then you know you can erase it. Sorry, my big head is in the way, you'll see the image in a minute. If you're a new subby, and we have had quite a few new subbies jump on board lately, so thank you very much, and thank you to all my old subbies that are hanging around. I obviously am doing something right for you to come to my channel each week and watch me waffle and do some art. I do have low vision. I unfortunately don't drive, and Vic roads have a problem with me driving, so sometimes doing fine work like this I do need to get quite close to the table, and my big head will get in the way of the filming camera. So I sort of found that right hand side, just that big space was bothering me, so I decided to do half a flower, and I tried to copy the other type of flower on the page. Of course it won't be exact, but it's nice to put some personality on the page as well. My voice is obviously telling me I'm doing too many voiceovers in a row, and it doesn't want to play nice anymore. I don't know. Some days my body and my brain just aren't on the same page. Seriously. I think one's at the start of the book and one's at the end of the book. It's early in the day too. It's not late when I usually do voiceovers. I had a bit of free time, so I thought, right, I edited this last night, so I'll jump on and do the voiceover. Then you have to wait like about half an hour for it to render on the laptop, then I have to transfer it to the computer, and then I have to upload it. Yeah, I know, it's probably making myself do twice the amount of work, but hey, it works for my situation, so that's fine. My main computer doesn't have speakers, and I can't do voiceovers on it. And I hate using my laptop, so I use it for as minimal part of the process as possible. So now that I've finished all my doodling and drawing, it's time to fill in the blue background at the top of the page, which is the bottom of the page that you're looking at. I did try to put this up the other way, but it just looked funny, so just giving some flowers, some colours and things. I don't know what else to say about this particular page. You do just have to keep in mind that some markers will bleed when you put acrylic paint or watercolour paint over the top of them, so just bear that in mind if you are doing mixed media. Mixed media is great, but sometimes mixed media doesn't work so well when your medias don't play nice together. And I have found that several medias don't. Basically what I'm saying by a media is several products. So a mixed media is basically mixed products if you use two or more different products on a page. So this is considered mixed media because I've used stamps and pens and paint. I believe that's the definition. So you just got to watch out that your medias or different products play nicely together and don't end up having a fight on your page, because you don't want to ruin your beautiful work. As I said, I don't like the streakiness of the blue. Maybe I could have gone back and fixed it by doing another coat. I'm not quite sure what went on that day to make it so streaky. It might have been the small paintbrush I was using. It might have been the paper. It was soaking into the paper quite well, as this was. As I said, it wasn't gessoed. It wasn't prepared paper. It was just paper that come in the art book. I love working in altered art books. There's just so much fun. I love the lines in the background. I do love incorporating some black and white images that I find in the books, and the ones I tear out of the books as well to put back in the books. I don't know, altered books are fun. You tear out pages to add the pages back. To a non-art journal or a non-altered book artist, it just seems weird and back to front. What do you do all day? People ask me. I tear pages out of books and stick them back in. And they look at me like I'm just a Martian. It's so funny. Just trying to take a few of those streaks out and darken up some of the areas. And I do apologise if you can hear the washing machine. It is on a spin cycle, and it's just in the next room from where I am. So just finishing up a bit of the blue paint. I found with the small paintbrush it was quite easy to get in and around the stamps, which was handy. And I think now I grab some green and do the leaves at the bottom. Maybe, no, maybe I'll draft the blue. When I'm editing, I do watch these videos through their entirety with no sound, just to make sure everything's in order, because sometimes I have gone to do voiceovers and I find that my videos are out of order. Because when I do film videos, I tend to have probably about 6 to 8, maybe up to 10 shorter videos to put together, to put the whole video together, because I've stopped and started, I've stopped to go find products, I've stopped because I've been interrupted, I've just stopped because the camera gets full and I have to download to the laptop. Unfortunately, I can only film 45 minutes on my video camera until my SD card is full. I've been saying for a few years, ever since I've been in YouTube, yes, I will get another SD card one day, and one day's just never happened, so it's a bit of a pain sometimes when you're really in the groove of doing something, and then you have to stop and download the camera. It doesn't take that long. One day I might get a webcam for my laptop and then I could continuously film, which would be really, really cool. And I'm also wanting to start doing some lives this year. I will still work on that. That's my goal by the end of 2019, is to do some lives. So just finishing off the green at the bottom of the top of the page, which is the bottom of the page at the moment, with the hand-drawn leaves that I did. I do have some still photos at the end showing you some more detailed pictures. And I'll grab some more. What colour is that? Can't see. I'll grab some more blue because I decided that it needed a bit more blue here, there and everywhere. I tend to think I'm finished with art journal pages and then I add something else. And I have a few sheets of that beautiful greaseproof paper. That's from, you can get it at Coles and Woolworths. Comes in a roll for under $2. I think it's under $2. I think it's like 30 meters, 50 meters. It's quite thin. It's got like a glossy sort of shiny side and a smooth side. I always work on the smooth side, and then the glossy side is the side I stick down. But it behaves very nicely like I think in a minute, deli paper that the US ladies get. And if you stamp on it or produce paper like this, when you go and glue it down, it's semi-transparent, like you see it but you don't really see it, if that makes sense. So I'll just about leave you here. Thank you. This has been a very waffling video. Wasn't much to say about this one. Me stamping, me painting, me drawing. I could have said that in like 3 or 4 words. So I do have some of the protective sheets so my paint doesn't ooze over everything else in my book. But that's my book. I'll give you a quick shot, and then I've got some still photos at the end. So thank you very much for listening to me. If you've made it this far, please subscribe. We love seeing new subscribers come on board. Here I just decided to darken up a few of the lines that were not as dark after I'd put the paint over. I could have also done it the other way. I could have painted an area of paper and then stamped on top. That would have given me more crisp dark lines. So you can do it in several different ways. So give us a thumbs up if you like these sort of videos, art journaling videos. And I love to read all your comments, and I do endeavour to reply to all of them. I know I am quite a few months behind, but I'm going to sit my butt down in front of my computer and do some this weekend. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.